I will just bet that you good folks would love to hear the story of why I am wearing this lovely yellow rose on my dress, wouldn't you? Let me take you back to a hot and muggy month of August in 1920, when a national drama brought its final and perhaps most spectacular act to Nashville. A year before, on June the 4th, 1919, the United States Congress had voted to append 39 words to the Constitution. Simple, straightforward words, but for all their brevity, they packed a punch. Nearly everyone who read them or even heard about them felt provoked to take a stand. Those 39 words comprised the 19th Amendment, which, if ratified by 36 states, would give women the right to vote. So, in August of 1920, when the issue was to come before the Tennessee state legislature, the amendment was one state shy of ratification. 35 states had passed it. Despite the mere sliver of a margin that blocked ratification, the suffragists and their supporters knew victory was not inevitable. Indeed, the anti-suffragists had good reason to hope that if Tennessee failed to pass the 19th Amendment, the perfect 36 would never be realized and the law would die. What ensued was a War of the Roses, with its primary battle waged in Nashville during an oppressively hot August. Now, I must tell you, the women involved in both the suffrage and the anti-suffrage movements were tough as nails. Nashville teemed with reporters from New York, Chicago, Washington, and Boston. Celebrities such as the national suffrage leader, Carrie Chapman Catt, traveled to Tennessee to help spearhead the drive for ratification. Tennessee women from rural and urban backgrounds, different social classes, and different races worked together in writing letters, making speeches, and canvassing legislators. Despite their diversity, they were united under a single symbol, the yellow rose. Well, let me tell you, yellow roses were in vogue in Nashville that summer, but so were red roses, the flower of choice for the anti-suffragist. Even the legislators showed their colors by wearing roses on their lapels. Counting the number of red roses worn by the representatives, the suffragists knew they were in trouble for the pending vote on August 18. By the roses, it appeared the amendment would be defeated 47 for and 49 against. In the first roll call, however, Representative Banks Turner came over to the suffragist side, and the vote was deadlocked at 48 for and 48 against. The second roll was taken, and the vote remained 48-48. With frayed nerves, the legislators squared off for the third roll call. A blatant red rose on his breast, Harry Byrne, the youngest member of the legislature, suddenly broke the deadlock. Despite his red rose, he voted in favor of the bill, and the House erupted into pandemonium. With his yay, Byrne had delivered universal suffrage to all American women. The outraged opponents to the bill began chasing Representative Byrne around the room. In order to escape the angry mob, Byrne climbed out of the third-floor windows of the Capitol, making his way along a ledge. He was able to save himself by hiding in the Capitol attic. When tempers had cooled, Byrne was asked to explain the red rose on his lapel and his yellow rose vote. He responded that while it was true he was wearing a red rose, what people couldn't see was that in his breast pocket there contained a telegram from his mother in East Tennessee. She urged him to do the right thing and vote in favor of the amendment. Governor A.H. Roberts, a fine lawyer from Livingston, signed the bill on August the 24th, 1920, and 2 days later, the 19th Amendment became national law, thanks in part to a woman named Phoebe Ensminger Byrne and her son Harry. A whole lot more happened in those 2 days than you can believe, and I should know because a friend from right here in Cookeville was on the front lines of that battle. Dick L. Lanston was born in 1869 at Baker's Crossroad in White County, Tennessee, and made important contributions to his community and home state of Tennessee. But for the story I am telling you tonight, which occurred in August of 1920, it is important for you to know that he was the Chief Justice of the Tennessee Supreme Court. Fact of the matter is, after the state legislature ratified the 19th, over 50 Tennessee counties filed injunctions to try to block the governor from certifying the vote. Those men tried everything, legal and illegal, to stop the legislation. Why, 36 legislators even fled the state. The governor was Judge Lanston's good friend and came to him for advice. Well, he told him not to worry a thing about it and issued a writ of supersedes that nullified all the injunctions. The governor was free to certify the ratification and send it to Washington to be signed by the president, and suffrage became the law of the land for all American women. To think it all began right here in Tennessee. We're so proud of the women who fought for the cause, even the ones who flirted, cajoled, and plied the good teetotaling men of the legislature with whiskey. I dare say that devil moonshine may have been a part of women's suffrage in Tennessee as any of us, and the politics of suffrage got particularly ugly in Nashville. Speaking of people who say one thing and do another, have you ever met Mrs. Graham McGregor Smith, who once lived right here in Cookeville? She may have worn her red rose proudly, but guess who was the first woman to vote in Davidson County? Well, it's getting late. Y'all best be getting on home. Good night.